Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you're all having a super fantastic sparkling day. We were supposed to have Nicole on tonight, but she had a family emergency, and so she's taking care of family right now, and we will see her next Tuesday. So we're going to try for another day. So tonight you get just me again, but welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast, episode number 1385, where we're going to be talking about expedition and adventure cruises. And these are not your normal family type cruises that, do the Caribbean or Europe, Mediterranean. We're talking smaller. We're not talking big ships. We're talking smaller ships, fewer passengers on board. So you could be one of, say, 100 people on board a ship, or maybe 600 people on the ship. These are your small cruises. And I've just been reading about a brand new one with one of my favorite river cruise companies. I mean, I like all my river cruise companies. This is the only one that I've actually sailed on. The other ones look really amazing, and I can't wait to get on their ships. And I put clients on other cruise line river cruise ships, and they've come back having a phenomenal time. But this one, heck, why don't we just jump in? This one they've got, this one is, you can do a 3-night Cairo pre-cruise, then you do a 7-night round trip from Luxor, and then you have a 1-night Cairo post-cruise. And when you go to Luxor, you board the river cruise, you board the ship at that time, and have that time on the I'm just trying to remember how many days they go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's a 7-night cruise, but a total of like 11 nights. So you get to spend some time there in Cairo, and when you're in Cairo, they'll be doing an Egyptian museum and King Tut's treasures. They'll be having a local lunch. There'll be the Alabaster Mosque. There'll be your welcome reception with tapas and drinks. The next day, you get to see the pyramids of ancient Memphis. On day 4, well, day 1 you fly in. Day 4, you've got a flight to Luxor with invocation and the Luxor temple visit. Then you are 7 nights on the cruise on the Nile, visiting various places along the Nile. Then you come back to cruise back to Luxor on day 11, and you disembark at that point. You take a flight to Cairo, where you'll have exclusive Aberdeen Palace private tour and lunch. And then you fly home the next day. And I'm just thinking, that sounds so awesome. I have heard Egypt's one of those places that's on my bucket list. And I have heard so many people talking about things that they have done in Egypt. In fact, I have a friend who is a travel professional as well, and her photographs, she was uploading a ton of photographs every day that she was in Egypt. And she's a huge history buff, and was having such a blast learning the history of Egypt that and I was living through her at the time, and I was just like, I have got to get to this. Something I've always been interested in, but my interest got peaked even higher based on what she was posting and talking about. So some other things, so that's one there. Doing a cruise on the Nile River. Another one that you can do is, oh my gosh, there are so many you can do. With small ships, you can do an Antarctica expedition cruise. This will take you down to Antarctica. You'll board specially equipped vessels that sail through the Drake Passage, known for its challenging waters. This is one of the roughest waters in the ocean in the world, is that piece at the bottom of South America. Sorry, I got a bug flying in front of me. Sort of like zooming backwards and trying to get in my face. That didn't work. And they will take you down now, and they'll take you down to you reach an Antarctic peninsula. You'll get breathtaking. I have seen so many videos of people of different cruise lines that go down there. You okay, Zeph? See this weird noise. Sorry. So you'll get to see these amazing, breathtaking landscapes tall glaciers, icebergs, snow-covered mountains. You'll get to see different wildlife down there as well. It's got a very diverse wildlife, including penguins, seals, and whales. They may even have things like kayaking, camping on the ice, taking polar plunges, just giving you a completely immersive experience in that area of the world. It's phenomenal what they do, and I've seen different cruise lines that do trips down there. I've seen videos of what they do in that, and again, I can't wait to get there. One of my favorite ones that we tried to do in 2020, but of course we all know what happened then. It's weird noises. Sorry, getting distracted with the strange noises going on around. Is the Galapagos. This is a place we actually had. We were going to spend some time in Quito in Ecuador, which is a World Heritage site. We're going to spend some time there. We were going to go up into the mountains, spend some time there, come back down to Quito. We were going to catch the flight across to the Galapagos Islands, where we would then get on the ships. And during now, the cool part is that with the Galapagos, you don't know what islands you're going to be visiting until you get there, because the park rangers determine what ships are going to which islands and in which order they're going to be doing them. And some islands you may not get to because it could be mating season, it could be hatching season, there'll be some thing that they are doing to protect the wildlife on that island, because based on the time of year that's what's happening and that sort of thing. But you get to see like these giant tortoises that are hundreds of years old. You'll get to see marine iguanas, which are actually kind of cool looking. I'm not an iguana person, but the marine iguanas look really cool. My favorite birds, and I have watched these birds on YouTube so much, are the blue-footed boobies. They've got these really, which is actually quite comical, and they've got these big feet that are blue. They kind of almost trip over their own feet when they're on land, but they can fly very well. And the Galapagos actually also has some penguins there too. And not only that, you'll also get to if the ship will have the equipment for you can go snorkeling and diving opportunities where you can swim with sea lions, sea turtles, and different types of colored fish. And you'll see some marine life there that you will not see anywhere else in the world. So these are sort of like the adventure, the expedition adventure stuff that we like. Small ships. Remember, smaller ships, a lot less crowded. And the cool part with any of these expedition cruises is they always bring specialists on board to talk about what you're going to be seeing, what you've seen, and then tell you what you're going to see next. And they have the naturalists that come on board. They have the conservation people that come on board that talk about what's going on in that area to help preserve that area that you're going to as well. Now, we talked about Antarctica. You can also do Arctic expedition cruises as well. They include areas like Greenland and the Canadian Arctic. You can traverse through frozen landscapes, again, seeing those towering glaciers like you do down in Antarctica. You can spot Arctic wildlife such as polar bears, walruses, reindeer, Arctic foxes. You'll learn about the unique ecosystem up there and the impact that it can change. You'll have cultural encounters as well for the people that live in those areas. Oh, there goes Zeffie. And visit historical sites as well. So you'll get a very well-rounded expedition on this one. And usually they do those ones in the summertime for the Northern Hemisphere. The Antarctica ones are done in the summertime for the Southern Hemisphere. So if you are in North America and you want to do the Antarctica, that's going to be around the November through February timeframe, when it's their summer, your winter. If you are wanting to do the Arctic, then that will be in the June, July, August timeframe, because that's the summertime there. And you get those 24-hour days of sunlight and everything else. You can also do the Norwegian fjords, and there is a cruise line that actually sails up and down the Norwegian coastline 365 days a year. 7 days up, 7 days back, 7 days up, 7 days back. And it's actually also the mail run. They will stop in at ports where you can't get off, but they're dropping off mail, picking up mail. They may be dropping off supplies as well. So it's sort of like it's the delivery service for the little towns that are up and down the coast of Norway. And those cruises go every day. Those cruises are always going. So the cool part is that you can actually go there and take the cruise up towards the top of Norway during the time when you would get to see the Northern Lights. Isn't that cool? That would be really cool. So there's so you've got those cruises too, where you just go up and down. You get off in some places, and in other places you can't get off because it's just a stop, drop off, pick up, and go. So, but you'll get to see some amazing places. You'll have opportunities to go hiking, glacier walks, wildlife spotting, including seals, sea eagles, and porpoises. Oh, I love the porpoises. You'll visit little coastal towns and learn about Norway's rich history as well, their cultural heritage, which has a very wide variety of things there. I actually have, I'm actually kind of keen to go over there because there is a rumor in my family on my dad's side that we descend from the Vikings. And I was like, yeah, right. Well, as I started getting into genealogy, I learned that it is quite a possibility that we are descended from Vikings because I have a very strong Scottish heritage on both sides of my family, and a lot of Scotland was populated by the Vikings. So there is and I also have, with my DNA work, it shows that there are Scandinavian countries in there as well. So that rumor may not be so much of a rumor. It could actually be true. We're going to do some more digging though. Another one, going to a very tropical place, is the Amazon River expedition. You can take a cruise up the Amazon River. It's into the world's largest rainforest aboard a riverboat. You'll get to see a lot of different wildlife, pink river dolphins, monkeys, colorful birds. You'll have a guided jungle walk to observe the diverse flora and fauna and learn about traditional medicinal plants. You'll engage with local communities, visit indigenous villages, and gain insights to their ways of life. And that's on the Amazon River. So we've gone from the top, we've gone from the bottom of the world to the top of the world to a tropical place in between. There's also Alaska. Now, Alaska, you're probably going, yeah, but you get those big ships. We also have smaller ships that go into Alaska too. So you're not on the big ships that hold anywhere from 2,000 to 6,000 passengers. You're on the smaller ships, and being on the smaller ships doing the Alaska Inside Passage, you actually get to go to ports of call that the big ships cannot do. So you get to see a lot more. You get to see more wildlife this way as well. And you're going into places that are not as touristy. So you're getting to see some places as they should be seen. And these little these smaller ships, they do, yes, you'll get to see the glaciers, and yes, you'll get to see some of the normal stuff, but you'll also get to see a lot of stuff that other people don't get. And you may get closer to glaciers based on the size of the ship and what's going on with the icebergs that are carving off and that sort of thing too. So now we're going to go flying across the country and down under to Australia. They have a really cool coastal expedition down there. It is called the Kimberley Coast Expedition Cruise. And I have seen a ton of videos about this thing. And I am so wanting, Australia is such a huge country anyway. It's the same size as continental US. Just to give you to put it in perspective for you. But they have up in the Kimberley Coast, which is up in the Northern Territories, they have a cruise that goes along the remote and rugged Kimberley Coast in northwestern Australia. You'll get stunning cliffs, cascading waterfalls, ancient Aboriginal rock art sites, and I tell you, the Aboriginal artwork is spectacular. You'll encounter unique wildlife like saltwater crocodiles, dolphins, and sea turtles. You'll explore gorges and river systems, and you'll learn about the Aboriginal culture and the history of the region. And I tell you, the Aboriginal culture is completely different to the Polynesian culture, with how they talk about how the world came into existence and everything else. Their stories, their myths and legends are very, very different. But it's always good to visit other cultures where you can find out what are their myths and legends that, especially when they talk about how the world began. Now, if you go to Hawaii and the Cook Islands and New Zealand, and where else? Those ones I know for definite. They have the myths and legends that surround the guy called Maui, and they have very different, very similar, but slightly different myths and legends. And it makes very interesting reading when you're looking at Hawaii myth. This is what happened to me. I was looking at a book on Hawaii myths and legends, and I'm reading this story about how the earth and the sky, Mother Earth and the Father Sky, got separated by Maui. And then how Maui caught the sun and forced it to slow down, so you had longer days because it would just run through the skies. And how they pulled up the islands. And I'm like sitting there reading this going, okay, this dude's the same dude I learned back about in New Zealand in the Maori myths and legends, because we had Maui there. He separated the sky, the Mother Earth from the Father Sky, and he helped catch the sun and slow it down to give us longer give us daylight. And then he was the one that pulled up. Now in New Zealand, the canoe, the South Island, it's 3 main islands. The North Island is the shark, the South Island is the canoe, and Stewart Island, which is at the bottom of the South Island, is actually the grandmother's jawbone that they used in the canoe to pull up the North Island. In Hawaii, Molokai is the grandmother's jawbone that helped raise up the islands of Maui, the islands of Hawaii. So very, very similar but different myths and legends. So it's always fun to learn different cultures and things. So that's just a few of some of the different adventures out there, some of the different expeditions out there, and things that you can go and see and do on these smaller ships. Oh, another small ship which gives you an awesome tour around the Caribbean in a way that you will never experience it is that name has totally Star Clippers. They have these beautiful ships that have these very tall masts. And if you ever think of the galleon ships that they used to sail in that had the different sails that came out, you have a mast there, and they'll have like 3 or 4 sails on a mast, and they would unfurl and come down, and the wind would catch them and push them along. Those are the type of sails that you get on board the Star Clipper ships. And because they're small, they take less than 100 passengers. They sail around the Caribbean islands, going into ports of call that the big ships can't get into. They're going into islands that the big ships can't get to. So you're getting a very unique experience, on the Caribbean, on these ships. And they are, and they prefer to go under sail all the time. They do have motors on board the ships that are only used in particular situations, but most of the time they are under sail. And these ships look incredible when their sails are out. They have the tallest masts on any ship around the world, and they look absolutely fantastic when all the sails are unfurled and the wind is pushing the ships along. So that's another cool expedition that you can do. And if you're into pirates, a lot of places they visit have history on pirates. A lot of the pirate stories come from the Caribbean and stuff, and Star Clippers actually go to a lot of ports of call that have the pirate history there. So if you're into pirates, you might want to check that one out. But anyway, if you're interested in any of these, just please reach out, send me a private message. Be happy to get you all hooked up with some of these, give you more information about the expeditions that we have spoken about today. And that's it from us for today. I've got a puppy who would love to go for a walk right now. She's standing here with these beautiful amber eyes looking at me. Then please do that. Anyway, go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we will catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, konara.